Welcome back to Eco and to version 9.3. Yes, there is a new release out, and with it comes a whole bunch of changes for tailoring. And let's get to those and show you what's new. So in this update, you have three new types of resources. One is cotton, and that looks like a small white flower. Unfortunately, in my world, I don't have any because I started this world before 9.3. However, I gave myself some cotton seeds, went and planted it over in the wetlands biome over here, so not too close to my base. Just to basically match what you would get, you know, if you were in a new world. And with that done, you can then, once they're grown, I've just given myself some cotton balls. And now this isn't actually necessary. Cotton is sort of an alternative to cloth that you can already make in game. So if you want to use the new cotton, if you're starting a new world, you can, but it isn't actually necessary for progression. However, there is two other things that you certainly will be able to pick up just without planting cotton. And that is, one of them is wool. Sorry, I just have to get rid of the wolves sometimes. One of them is wool, and the other one is nylon. Now, nylon is much further in. We haven't got there yet, but I just wanted to mention it now. There we go. We are going to use, first of all, to get wool, we need to use the butchery table. We can then butcher animals, and that will let us get some wool. So butcher medium animal, butcher medium woolly animal. Some animals count for this second category, and then they will be able to be used like that. So yes, depends on what we're doing. I think I've already made some downstairs. Is there anything else with that in here? No, so we only have bison, hare, and medium woolly animal. Fine, we can go hunting for that. Once you've butchered some of those animals, you'll get the actual the wool, and then you'll be able to convert the wool across from its regular form, just its bare shorn wool, into wool yarn. So if we go over here, let's just say 14 or so. And then back it down. There we go. So we should get 11 wool yarn out of this, and we'll just order it. Okay, off it goes. And then there's a new table, or there's multiple new tables. The rugs have been moved out of this entirely into the loom, and also the bear pack that exists in here that I made last episode over here. This is now been removed to much later in the game. It's going to require the industry specialization, which is actually, excuse me one second. Sorry, I had to cough there. The industry specialization, which is much later in the game. So you won't be able to get the bear pack, but you can still make this big backpack, which is, quite good as well. And of course, I can make the camo pants and the camo shirt, which is good for sneaking up on animals. Now, there's a whole bunch of cosmetic clothing apparently in this update for tailoring, or at least 4 different outfits. I think I saw on the screenshots. I'm not too concerned with cosmetic clothing. I mean, I can go into, third-person mode, but it doesn't really much matter to me. However, what does matter to me is sort of anything that improves, our scores down here and everything like that. So having a look at the loom then, the loom can then take in the yarn and convert it into wool fabric. And you'll see, in addition to that, we can make the rugs with the wool yarn instead of going for wool fabric. Now, a lot of recipes have, instead of saying cloth now, they say a fabric tag over here. So you can use cloth, you can use cotton, nylon, or wool to make them, depending on what era you're particularly in. But just bear that in mind that some recipes may say fabric, in which case you can just ignore the cotton if you want to and use cloth as you did before, or indeed wool, or whatever you actually have, depending on what your specializations are. For example, if you're a hunter, you might have, or a hunter and a butcher, you might have a lot of wool, but you might not get too efficient with your scythe to get a lot of fibers to make cloth. So it'll be up to you entirely what you actually use there. So through the game, we have this loom of the new table. There is an advanced tailoring table, and there is, I think, an automated loom as well, at least. So it depends where you are in your particular playthrough as to which ones you actually use of those. So we'll see as far as we go through which ones we actually use. For now, I think it's just these two. If you want to process cotton, you are going to need a farmer's table, and I'm gonna think that requires farming 1. Yes, it is. So processing these cotton balls requires that to be done. That gets you to cotton thread, I think, and then you then go through here. Cotton thread, yes, that turns into cotton fabric, and away you go. Your choice entirely what you actually make here. Some of the changes with this update, we now have actually a use for fish. Remember in the previous episodes, if you watch them, I mentioned that there really is no good recipe for fish. Well, now apparently there is. If we have a look here, there should be a fish stew, which is an analog to the meaty stew that you can use the fishery for and fish traps, etc. So let's just have a look. Fish stew, there it is. So it is 4.13.10.1, and the meaty stew is 4.13.10.1. So it's identical to that. Is there anything? It just requires 2 fish and 1 fat. This one requires. That's been updated. That didn't used to require the scrap meat. Yeah, that's been changed. Interesting. So before, it just used to require charred meat and fat. However, now it requires scrap meat, which we need to generate from the butchery table, I believe. So yeah, I have a stock of it already in, so it's here already, 53 of it. However, if you haven't, the fish stew now is much cheaper to actually make. You just have to make fish traps through the fishery, which I've already had down somewhere. I picked it up, put them in the river, and you want to go and look for like animal populations here. So aquatic animals population, and then maybe salmon. So you can see that pool right here would be kind of ideal for fish traps. If you go into water, hold down control to actually dive below the water and not come back up. So there's that. That'll be quite easy for me to set up. I'll set them up off camera, and then we'll come back later just to make sure we have some. But yeah, if you do have butchery already, if you've been following along, then the scrap meat should be up here on the butchery table. I think it's on the bottom of it, or it used to be. Ish. Scrap meat, yes. You'll convert some of my 421 meat into scrap meat, and you would obviously get some XP from that for butchery. You can see down here, a lot of my stuff is now at the higher level that I've been doing so far. So yeah, either way around, you can still get to the recipes that you actually want. Okay, so the rest of the stuff with 9.3, there's a lot of fixes, a few changes to recipes here and there. One of the changes they've been making as far as fixes is concerned is to try and fix the FPS drop that you have over time. If you have a look on this screen, you'll see your FPS down here, and over time that used to deplete. Apparently some of that's been fixed. I'm not sure if it's all been fixed, but we'll see as far as that's concerned, and the version number is obviously 0.9.3 here. We'll see how well that goes for me. In servers in particular, when there's lots of different buildings by different people, it would slow down to a crawl, and what I have to do is go into graphics and then go to view distance and change that to 100. It's 100 here. However, if it is fixed, then maybe we can increase that back up to 200 and then see more things. You can see, however, it does, it went from 48 to now below 40 by doing that. So yeah, your mileage may vary. Certainly changing the view distance will make things a little bit nicer for you if you want them. Okay, so that's that so far. The rest of the stuff in the update, not too terribly concerned with it. Again, there is some different outfits you can make. There is a new glove slot, I believe. Yep, new glove slot over here. But again, they're all cosmetic at the moment, so you don't have to worry about those as far as needing them straight away. And then let's get on to a little bit of mechanical power. So I made some windmills. You make these with cloth and wood, just from the existing crafting benches that we've got. You can place them down wherever you like and they work. It doesn't have to be anywhere with clearance before or behind them. That's just how windmills work in this game so far. So what I'm going to do with those is probably use them for mechanical power in the mine, which I'm still digging. Don't worry, I'll show you once I've finished digging it. So over here, what you could do is, if you didn't want to do that, if you thought, well, maybe there's not enough draft in a mine for me to allow that as sort of an RP reason, you could just then say, well, if you're going to do that, bring up your ore all the way to the surface, cart it over here to the arrastras, and they'd be powered by the water wheel, which is in water. Thank you very much. It's down there. These will crush it into the crushed ore, but you will not get tailings at that point. Take all the crushed ore back to your mine, down to the bottom where you have a rocker box like this, and then concentrate it. And as soon as you concentrate it, you will get tailings, which start ground pollution. So you want that down in your mine only if possible. If you have it up here and you generate it up here, you just have to be quick moving it back down into your mine so that it doesn't get recognized, and don't leave any of it when, if you're on a server, for example, don't leave any of it overnight for other people, because then it will then start polluting the ground, especially if you happen to be anywhere near someone's farms. They really won't like it. Just a bit of a tip. Okay, so that's basically advice there. And we have mechanical power that doesn't require water, so that will work fine. From there, I'm not sure if I mentioned I've been making charcoal. Condenses wood all the way down into charcoal. 4 wood then becomes the equivalent to 5 wood when you condense it. It is now cheaper and easier to make this with this current update. And later, well, next probably, we'll take a look at the bloomery. I've been making a couple of those as well. So let's get started on our iron production. Yep, it's time to change over. So we've got all of these stockpiles full of sand. There's 4 of them, I think. It looks like about 4 of them. And yes, they're entirely full of sand, all converted down from sandstone. So that is just a byproduct of when you're mining down in the desert. You just think about it and put them somewhere. You will be turning all of this into mortar pretty much, or possibly some other stuff. But we don't need to worry about that just yet. That's pottery. So just have some storage space. I did go and make the smelting book earlier, and I did take that smelting book. So all that's really left is, and you have to take smelting for this. You can't make any of the stuff with iron without it, or at least you can't make iron bars without it, I should say. That's the more important thing. So we need to go into, where are you? Smelting? I don't remember which category it is. No, 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 no. There we go, smelting. Okay, so I'm going to take that specialization. Yep, it's consumed a star. And now we're able to set up our iron chain. So let's go and take a look at that in the mine. I'll show you what I've been doing. I think I'm now about 4 stockpiles worth deep as far as the elevator is concerned. So here's the top one. This is number 1. And then one can see number 2. And I can transfer stuff between them like this, etc. And stuff like that. So I can then transfer the crushed down. And then you'll see if I just move down here, I've got some crushed. I can go even further down, and you'll see I've got a whole bunch of crushed to be processed. So we want to make sure we get to a decent iron vein for really working on this. So if I move down to floor 29-ish, yeah, 28, 29, something like that. This is the start of the iron vein, the bottom iron vein in the desert, by the way. And because we need to store the tailings underground anyway, well, we may as well dig down to this. And it goes down all the way down to like level 14 or so, 14, yes. So quite a deep iron vein, and it's not only that it's deep, but it's also going to be quite wide in one direction. So you're going to have more than enough iron to take care of any needs that you have. Anyway, let's just put down a rocker box. Let's put that down there. And let me put down a bloomery. Okay, which I should be able to deal with now. And fuel this up. Just drop some charcoal in there. Okay, and now you can see I can't get to the smelting upgrade one yet, and this doesn't have any advanced upgrades. So the more advanced upgrades, the more iron you'll get out of this. I think these don't show up green yet, but we'll see whether that's actually true. These don't show up green either, so well, we'll see once we put an advanced upgrade in. So we wanted to get started by processing some iron. So for some iron, we need some iron concentrate, and some iron concentrate we can make using this. So first of all, let's just give it access to the local storage, and indeed to number 4. What I'm going to do is put number 4 at the top. What's going to happen is it's going to be able to take from this, and it's going to put whatever storage is at the top of the list. So this means this is my output. My output is on the next level down. So I know the tailings are going to be not on level 28, but is this 4 or is this 3? This is 4, so it will be here where they get stored. 3 is above us, and it's still in range of this station. So let's do some of that. We want, it's going to be 3 to 1. So I want about 10 concentrate. That's going to give me 10 tailings as well. So let me just make 10 batches. It's going to take 25 of that. And let's just assign all the work. It's going to take 7.5 minutes. But we can also then go to this one and say, I'm going to make 10 batches of you as well. So there we go. And we'll get 30 iron bars out of it. And we'll get 10 slag. Slag may seem like a byproduct that you can't do anything with. You will eventually be able to do something with it. It's not yet, but you can see it's used in crushed slag level 2. Crushed slag is something that you can then use for further recipes. Basically, anything that gets used uses crushed stone, and that's concrete. That's a tier 4 material. So if you can store it somewhere, yeah, don't just dump it on your server if you intend to get to concrete. that needs cement, but we're not there yet. Cement is the other use for the sand piles that you have. But again, more than likely you're going to turn it into mortar and then bricks for the moment. So yeah, then we're just going to order that as well. Again, it's going to be inefficient because we don't have any of the right stuff, but for right now, it's going to now start processing stuff. So in storage, I'm again also going to put number 4 at the top, and I'm going to give it access to those. You'll see it's got some tailings already down there, and it started to process the first bit of iron. So I need to just wait 20 minutes for all that to be done. I'm not really going to wait 20 minutes. I'm going to wait for the first 6 bars, and then we're going to produce an anvil. Anvils then let us create a whole bunch of recipes, 37 recipes in particular. And there we go. Those are the recipes. So cast iron stove is in here for better food. We've got all the iron tools, which we're definitely going to want. Remember, we took the increased tier axe. So if we get an iron axe, it should act like a steel axe. The pickaxe should be better. It won't act like a steel pickaxe, but it will be more efficient in terms of calories, which is going to be good because we're going to be doing quite a bit of digging, or at least mining. There's lots of other stuff in here as well. Recurve bow, yes, that's very useful for animals, of course, and there is steel in here as well. Steel is a whole different game. We're not there yet, but these 2 machines will happily tick away doing our work, and we should come back to some iron bars. Well, certainly the rocker box is faster than the bloomery, so that's fine. Now, further down, I am going to keep on digging. I think there's probably a case for putting one more elevator down, maybe around this kind of level right here, and you can see it hits gneiss right here. One gneiss is a harder rock to get rid of. It takes more blows to actually break it, and of course I'm still only on a stone pickaxe, so don't really want to be going too much into gneiss, but this is pretty much near the bottom anyway. It's like level 17. You can go all the way down to like 2 or 1 or something, but there's an unbreakable layer down there, so it's not worth really doing much more with it. That said, this level is perfectly fine. If you wanted to just move off, whoops, there's some iron ore. If you wanted to just move off and dig in this direction, then build out more room for more tailing stockpiles, you could absolutely do that. And in fact, you probably would get all the iron ore out of the space anyway, and that will get crunched down. You can see we've got a whole bunch of desert out this way. This is roughly where we are. So anywhere northwest, it will be more and more sandstone, more and more iron ore, and we're all pretty much good for materials there. So I'm going to do a bit more digging while this processes. I built a second bloomery that should double our speed, and up here, all the ores being crushed down into the crush type. Then it's going to be brought down into here, into the mine to be processed. So I'm just going to take these hewn logs down here because we're going to need them for the anvil. I'm just going to put this on the second one. I'm going to order an anvil. There we go. It's 4 minutes. It shouldn't take very long. I'm just going to put it first in the queue. That's used up all the hewn logs I brought down. You can see here the tailings are starting to build up. Not very many yet. There's only 10 tailings, but they will, trust me, they will build up, and you are going to need some storage for them. So wherever you put them is fine, but it is your choice entirely. But we've got 18 iron bars, and we got 8 slag. So these blueberries are processing wherever they can. And yep, we should be getting on with things. So I'm just going to wait for the anvil, and then we'll go and see what we can make. Oh, one other point. Don't underestimate the amount of iron you're going to need. If you think that maybe you'll be okay with just the tools, when once you get into industry, mechanics, electronics, you're going to be using up hundreds and hundreds of iron and steel. So you're going to need quite a bit. Just I'm warning you now, okay? Okay, looks like our anvil's done. So let's see if it pops in there. Yes, we've got our anvil. So let's just pop it down here temporarily. Probably move it back into the base. But we need a room requirement. Yeah, we need 0.8, so we can't use it here. However, we'll be able to take it back to the base. So let's look at some of the things we want. Definitely want a cast iron stove. That'll be helpful for the next tier of cooking. And it will help your housing score as well, as long as it's got fuel in it. Even if the fuel isn't being used, that will actually show up, I think, as a housing improvement. In your kitchen only, though. First kind of pipe. I ignore copper pipe. I just go with iron pipe because iron, it's plentiful around here, and copper, you're going to want it first of all for research, and later you're going to want it in electronics. But here's what we really want. So I'm going to need some boards. I'll need to take iron bars back to the base, which I will do. And rock drills, kind of very useful to find out what's around you, but we know what's around us here. It's iron. We could do with a source of coal, however. You will need that later. So having a rock drill around to try and find some coal rather than accidentally breaking through into coal just by random is definitely a good thing to have. Saw blades, about 10 of those you're going to need for the improved carpentry, like the sawmill. Each of those take 3 iron bars, so you're going to want the advanced upgrades in here as well. Yes. Nails you're going to need a lot of for lumber, which is the next tier of wood. There's the sawmill, as I said. Only 1 iron saw blade. Maybe it's the improved one that takes like 10. There's something that takes like 10 saw blades that shouldn't really, but that's fine. And then everything else is in advanced smelting or smelting 5. So there's the advanced upgrade 3. That's what we're going to need for that. And yep, good to go there. The rest is decorative or steel, and we haven't got steel yet. Oh, the steel saw blade. I think maybe the steel saw blade that we need a lot of. Anyway, I'm ready to take that back to the base. So because I'm going to go and make some iron tools. Let's pop that over there. Which means I'm going to take back whatever iron we've got. I can carry 20 once. I can move the rest up. But we've only really made 24 plus the anvil. So a 30 iron bars. And let's go and see what the new tools look like. Okay, so I've built some boards, put our anvil down, which means I should be able to now craft what I need. Let me just make sure the right storage is top. Front 3, let's put back 2 top. And let's go and build stuff. So I definitely want an iron pickaxe. Absolutely. One of those, please. I definitely want an iron axe. I'll go and add the labor in a minute. I want an iron big shovel. Hammer, yes. But not a hoe, not a machete. Machete just clears plants. I don't think you get much back for them, but definitely does to clear plants, maybe. I can never remember. Machetes, they start to clear an area. So the iron starts to clear an area of plants rather than one at a time. The steel one is even better still. You get the idea. There's lots of stuff to be done there. The iron rock drill I would like as well. So, okay, so let me order all of those. And then let me just add all the labor there. Alt right clicking. Okay, so off they go. They don't take very long at all to make. And we are going to want an extra stock of iron bars. So we do want extra because we want the repair system to work. It's going to take iron bars to do it, unfortunately. But because you're a smith, it takes, basically because you've got smelting, it takes half the normal amount of bars to actually do repairs. So if you gave an iron axe to someone else and you wore it out, it'll take like 5 iron bars or 4 iron bars. For you, it'll only take 2. So cool. Just bear that in mind on a high collab server. If you've got a friend who's a smelter and you're not, get them to repair your tools for you. It's much cheaper. And now I just have to go and find where it's put all the tools because they should be top of the list. Yeah, the storage chest is top of the list. I should have moved something. But that's fine. We want a nice pickaxe, nice axe, a hammer, and an iron big shovel. Yep. Okay, so that's that. And there's our rock drill. I haven't shown you the rock drill, but let me just put that in place and I'll go and show you that in a second. And we've got a couple of medium rugs as well. Do we have room to put them down? Unfortunately, rugs, you can't put stuff on top of them. They are a weird piece of furniture, I think. Can we put them down there? Nope, see, it's blocked. However, in the 9.3 update, you get carpet blocks much later. And I think they may well have a similar kind of effect, but they're tier 4 materials, so they'll help. I'm not sure if they're giving a housing bonus on top of that, but again, rugs are their own piece of furniture, so if you want increased score, it's 122.7 right now, and now it's 125.6, so you probably do want to put a rug down in each room, and you can have multiple types of rug. There's large, medium, and small. Just bear in mind right now, that's that new cloth system, so you may, I think for the rugs, you specifically need the wool, and I don't have enough of it yet. So, it's fine. We've got everything we need for the moment. Back onto rock drills. So, iron rock drill is, I think, the first tier. Obviously, the steel, and there's modern. Modern has I think it's got like an engine attached to it. So, if I remember rightly. So, yeah, it's mechanized. However, the iron one, less so. So, if you want to see, let's see how much limestone we've got here. Pointed block in a certain direction, you can point down or straight out. and hold down, you'll see this interface. And it's going to show you whatever's in that direction. So this is quite slow right now. However, the further tiers are going to actually speed this up quite a lot. I think this tier lets you get to up to 15 out from where we currently are. Yep, 15. So we've got 15 blocks of limestone out that way, which is great because limestone is useful for another thing later in the game, both for carving statues right now, but later in the game you can make blocks out of it and stuff like that, so that's fine. May already be able to do that. Anyway, so we can also test how much iron ore we've got. So let's see how far this vein goes right here. We'll see. This may be a bit faster. It is. So as you can see, we've got a lot of iron ore. Okay, so 15 in that direction. There is no end to the amount of iron ore that I have right now. One thing here is, by the way, as soon as you dig through like this, let me just get rid of that for a second. As soon as you dig through like this, if you leave this block like here, 2 by 1, this counts as a room. So it's not a very good room. It doesn't have any tier to it. You'd need to reline the walls if you wanted a tier to it. But it does serve as a room. So if you have something that requires a room but nothing else, you can use these things down here. So we've got pretty much our iron journey started. Now, iron won't show up too much as far as... I didn't bring the other tool with me. I was going to say... it's not going to show... It's not going to break this wall any easier. However, what it will do is use less calories when you're doing it. So I didn't bring the other one for comparison, but let me just change into my work stuff. So swap those both out. Yeah. Okay, so I'm a little bit slower now, but let's see how many calories it takes right now. 5.44 calories. And it was above that. I'm almost certain it was. So yes, that is certainly a welcome thing. Because then I obviously have to go back to base to eat less. I could bring some food with me, but as I've said before, it's quite heavy, so it's your choice entirely whether you do so. On a server, I generally do. Solo, I'm close enough to my base that it doesn't matter that much, but you should bring a few meals anyway, just to keep yourself balanced and stuff like that. I know I don't show too much mining on camera, but hey, it's nice and quick and nice and cheap as far as that's concerned now, so we can then process all this stuff and get even more iron. Oh, one last thing with the iron tools before I move on. They are more durable by far. So maximum durability is 500. It dropped down 9 in that block of about 10. So basically assume that the 500 is how many blocks you can break if you hit them with a hammer. With a pickaxe. So yeah, 500 before you have to repair them, which is pretty good. Each tier doubles, I think. So steel will be 1,000, and I think modern maybe 2,000. But yeah, it's certainly a lot. And then of course you have your calorie decrease for each tier. So as soon as you can upgrade to a tier, as long as you can continue to make that materials, you're going to want to. You really are. Okay. So on screen now you're seeing recipes that are now enabled, I think. So we need the lumber recipe, and it is a nice higher tier material. That comes through the sawmill, which we can make. It's being made right there from the anvil. And that in turn takes an iron saw blade. So in a couple of minutes, we should have the sawmill. Hopefully that room requirements aren't too bad. Sawmill, there we go. What does it say? 0.8 tier. It'll be perfectly fine in here then. So crafted in the anvil sawmill recipe. And it enables all these other recipes. So you can see here, there's a few other, just like the cast iron stove, there's a few in here that you probably want. The kitchen recipe, which is right here. That's definitely going to be something you're going to want. Bookshelves are useful for the housing score. Large lumber doors are very useful. It's like a garage door. You can make it. It's 4 high by 5 across. So that's really handy for like an industrial kind of look. And of course, that lets you just get in and out of a large building quite easily with trucks later. Once we have actual trucks, that is. More improved, I should say, furniture. So all made of lumber. The machinist table, which gets us towards the whole industrialization stage of things, into that sort of thing. And then, is there anything else I want in here? Storage silos are all about for farmers, so they can keep many stacks, much more than a stockpile, but only of one item. So you may be careful with that thing. Or basically lots and lots of seeds, if you're going to think of it like that. And then elevators, I don't bother with. You can make them. They are not too terrible, I suppose, but they're slow to move up and down. And if you're on a server, elevators are very, very bad. Right now, there are glitches. If someone else goes onto an elevator and you're watching it, you'll see them start floating up in air, and you won't see the elevator moving. There's some glitches. If you're solo, they're perfectly fine. They're going to be okay. However, the elevator itself is only 2x3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This kind of area like this. It's fine for you and maybe a handcart, but even though you think you can get like the vehicles, they do kind of fit ish in like 2x3. They look like they will. They will not go down in an elevator. You need an industrial elevator for vehicles to go up and down. So for the most part, I don't bother. I tend to just build stockpile elevators and then just move goods up and down, and then I just walk up and down like stairs or drop down a hole. There's no fall damage in the game, so you can just dig a hole straight down if you wanted to. So that's fine, or straight up if you wanted to. I don't have any issue there. So are you finished yet? You are finished. So we get a sawmill. Yeah, okay. So sawmills are going to be quite large, but do I want it somewhere near here? I probably do. So I'm going to probably create another line of machines. That's good for now. Okay. We'll probably have to rearrange and extend this room so it's a bit more ordered, but for now it's fine. Power grid has insufficient mechanical power, so yes, we need mechanical power here, which means I probably need to make a couple more windmills, but I'm not concerned with that right now. I'm concerned with, is there any other requirements we don't have for some of these recipes? So hardwood lumber, it just takes the previous hewn logs and then some nails. So nails made on the anvil, as I said before. So we got lumber unlocked, which means looks like for the most part all of this is unlocked as well. I don't think there's anything coming out of there that looks in any way uncraftable. Good. So pretty much we're into a new tier of materials. Lumber you can make your entire house out of. It will then be the same as brick, which is the pottery material. So pottery is probably something we need to look at next ish if we want to get lots and lots of bricks, which we can then use up all this sand through mortar, and then recraft the house or extend the house in brick. And it is a very, very bright red brick. So tastes may vary. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for today's episode. We've broken through into the iron tier. We've broken through into lumber. Technically, we can do brick as soon as we get pottery. We've got all of 9.3 now with lots of changes to tailoring to make different kinds of clothes and other things. I think that's a good point to stop. If you've got any questions from what you've seen in today's episode, put them down in the comments below. If you've liked it, of course, click on the like button, and you can subscribe and click on the notification bell if you want more notifications of these episodes. Don't eat these things raw, whatever you do. It'll ruin your stomach rating. And we'll see you next time, I think, for some more eco. As always, guys, thanks for watching.